All right, welcome back. Quick little news of the day video here, an update on the one that I did earlier today. As anticipated, there has been quite a lot going on, although probably not as popular as some of the stories that I've been covering over the past few days. But given that tomorrow is probably going to be another super busy day, I thought it'd be best to get all of this news out before I end up overloaded with stuff to put on the board. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. And starting off in the Western European region, we have a couple of new rosters heading in. The first one here heading into the upper division, and that is COOLGUYS, aka formerly known as Pigzs, formerly known as Level Up from Season 2 of the DPC. They've maintained 3 out of the 5 players that they had in Season 2 and in their TI-10 qualifiers, those being Noob, Funnick, and DNZ. However, they have lost Aggressive Child, who used to be their Position 1 player. He has yet to find a new team since. And LeBron Dota, who is now on Into the Breach. He, of course, was on Team Agent that got picked up by Into the Breach. Of course, they're going to be playing in the lower division thanks to Hellbear Smashers, granting them their DPC slot. So, looking at the new players, now we have Thug, who actually played on Into the Breach back in, I believe, Season 1 of the DPC, and I could be wrong about that. It could have been Season 2. But Thug's coming in, and then we have Omar Sins coming in and playing 4, DNZ moving to Position 5. Omar Sins is not a player I'm familiar with. From what I saw, he wasn't a part of the DPC last year, and I could not find anything on a Wikipedia page or anything like that. If you guys have any information about him, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. I'd be really interested to hear on what his history is or how well he's doing, because this is going to be a team heading into the upper division. So for it to be a relatively new or unknown player, this is a pretty big step, especially in a region such as Western Europe that is so top heavy compared to some other regions. But yeah, this is a pretty fun looking team. It's going to be interesting to see how they do in the upper division of Western Europe, because near the end of the season, we were starting to see that this top 6 in Western Europe might be more watertight than we think. Tundra, of course, being the finalist in the TI-10 qualifiers, we now have a top 6 in Western Europe of Team Secret, OG, Team Liquid, Alliance, Team Nigma, and Tundra, which is an absurd amount of insanely good teams. And keep in mind, if you're in that upper division, you have to at least finish ahead of one of those teams to avoid relegation. And so, yeah, it's going to be really tough to go for these guys. The last few teams that make it to the upper division didn't exactly have the best run. Hellbear Smashers being one of them that didn't win a single game, or single series, I should say. But yeah, this is looking like a pretty fun roster, and I would genuinely like to see them do well in this season. I would like to see some more variety, you know, in the upper division. Next up, staying in Western Europe, but this time down in the lower division, we have a new roster coming out from Ghost Frogs, a team that had a pretty good season in that Season 2. They finished 3rd place, so they just barely missed out on making it to the upper division, and because of that, I think their roster kind of fell apart from there. So, looking at their old roster now, they had Crystalis, or Crystalis, however you want to pronounce it. He is now on Team Creepwave, as well as Toby is now on Team Creepwave, another team in the Western European lower division. We have Boranija, who was marked that he was on Hellbear Smashers now, but of course we heard that Hellbear Smashers was not going to be competing this year, and then they gave their DPC slot to Into the Breach, which was a super cool move, by the way. Good on them. But yeah, we don't know where he's going to end up. Of course, Hellbear Smashers mentioned that all of their players were getting Tier 1 offers, or some really good offers from other teams, so it's very likely that we end up seeing him on another roster in the upcoming few days. We then have Milan, who of course got picked up by Quincy Crew, and then finally we have J4, the only remaining member, and I'm assuming the DPC slot owner for this team. Well, looking at their new roster here, it looks like a serious step down, and this just might be my opinion, but this roster does not look nearly as threatening as their last one. A lot of these players being names that honestly I didn't recognize, and I'm not saying that in a mean way. I genuinely did not see their names before. I tried looking them up on Wikipedia, and only one of them had a Wikipedia page, that being Mastermind, who previously played for Siberium, but that was back in January, so he's been away from the pro scene for 10 months now. It's been quite a while. We have Ulmit playing position 1, Onmi playing position 3, and Nuku Madi playing position 4, and again, J4 coming in playing position 5. So, yeah, we'll see how this new roster ends up. Of course, they just have to not finish bottom 2 to stay in the DPC, but I'm a little bit worried about their roster here being a step down than the last one. I don't see them finishing top 2 in the lower division. It is still quite a competitive lower division here in Western Europe, but we'll have to see. I'd really love to be surprised by some new faces. It's always nice to see new players come into the scene and really make some waves. So yeah, we'll see how that goes for them. And finally, ending off on some news back in North America. This was kind of something that I touched on a few days ago, and that was regarding the match-fixing scandal that took place in North America's lower division in Season 2 of the DPC this year. And that was between two teams, Wind and Rain and Picado Squad Gaming. It was announced by the coordinator of the North American region, now the coordinator of the SEA region, that 3 players were going to be unbanned after investigation from both BTS and Valve. And those players being Sabo and Steel Borko, both from Wind and Rain, and P1 from Picado Squad Gaming. And now BTS has put out an official statement themselves, saying that yes, these players are going to be unbanned from both Valve and BTS. These players are already looking for new teams now. And QQQ, I won't say all of them because there's 8, Duffy and WDR, all 3 of those players coming from Picado Squad Gaming, are going to be banned until the end of this next season, so they will not be participating in the season. And then after that, they will be unbanned by BTS. It's unclear whether or not they're actually ever going to be able to compete with Valve ever again. But if they do want to participate in some BTS tournaments, they will be able to after this season. As for the rest of the players, those being Sate, Sword, and YYY, those 3 players being from Wind and Rain, and Sensibility coming from Picado Squad Gaming, they are permanently banned. They will not ever be able to participate in any sort of Valve or BTS tournament for this foreseeable future. So yeah, in the end of the day, only one member of Picado Squad Gaming has a permanent ban, which looks like he was the one that was mainly responsible for the match fixing, as opposed to Wind and Rain, who have 3 players who have been permanently banned. So yeah, some pretty unfortunate news coming out from North America. Of course, you hate to see it. You don't want to see match fixing in a game like Dota 2 or in any esport or in any sport whatsoever. It really kind of takes away from the competitive aspect, so it's always unfortunate to see. But it's good that Valve stepped in and made the right decision and got rid of some of these players, so we hopefully see less of that in the future. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, this is the second video of the day. If you missed my first video, feel free to check that out on my channel. Feel free to subscribe if you want to keep getting filled in on the news of the day. I have a feeling these next few days are going to be just as busy as the past few have been as we get closer to the roster locking period ending on November 21st. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow with another video.